Hello, all, and welcome back to day 29 of our 100 Days of Magic. I keep this sign sitting here on my desk so that I remember we're in the midst of 100 Days of Magic journey. The purpose of doing 100 days in a row is this: magic, if you want to live a more magical life, is a habit. You can read all the books about magic that you want. I've got thousands of them in my house. But if you don't do it, if you don't live it and breathe it, you are stuck up here in this little space of intellect, and you aren't integrating the rest of you. You aren't integrating body, you aren't integrating emotion, you aren't integrating soul, and you certainly aren't integrating spirit. If you think you are, there's a name for that. It's called spiritual bypassing, where you just think about things. I am only going to think spiritual thoughts and everything will be okay. Guess what? That is not a spiritual practice. That is checking out on life and refusing to do the messy stuff that actually helps us to grow and deepen as spiritual beings having a human experience. Hello, everyone who's tuning in. Boris and Melissa and Christine and Mary. It's so good to have you here today. We are going to be talking about the way of the witch. Before we get into the meat of our conversation today, I just wanted to say, for those of you who haven't met me before, I am Donna Woodwell. I am the organizer of the Crossroads of Magic and Mastery and the headmistress of the School of Magic and Mastery. And our mission is to give you the keys to unlock the gates to your deepest spiritual self, that divine spark within you, because when you can begin to live your genius in the world. And quite frankly, I think the world needs your genius right now more than ever. We need people to shine light into the world so that we increase the range of possibilities, what we have to solve the problems facing us today. And the fact that you are here means you are committed to the process, because, as I said, magic is a habit. You can't just think about it. You have to do it every day, and you have to, as they say, walk the talk. And we do that by embracing the spiritual perspective for all the choices that we make. So, we have been talking about the elements of a magical path this week. We've been talking about making magic, how you create an alignment with spirit. We have been talking about divination, how you get an overview of how all the pieces fit together and help you find meaning from the point of view of the divine. We have talked about priestess craft, where you are connected to the divine, and then are of service to the world. And we've talked about alchemy, how you use all of these things to learn how to change and shape and transform your inner world around and around the circle, making it more and more purified as you go, more and more divine-like, more and more spiritual, whatever word you prefer, more connected to that spark within you. So, the way of the witch. Well, what is a witch? It's a very controversial word in our culture. You know, it can be a badge of honor for some people. It can be a word of derision for others. It can be a word of fear and contempt. But it is a word that has been adopted by much of the modern pagan community to encapsulate all of these other things that we've been talking about. Witches do divination. Witches do magic. Witches serve as priests and priestesses, and witches do alchemy. And so when I say the way of the witch, I use it as a general term for those who are living a magical life, even if we don't claim that word for ourselves. For example, I don't really advertise on my websites, my business cards, that I am a witch. But it's a very descriptive term. I could adopt it. It's just not the word my teachers used, and so I never got in the habit of using it. But that doesn't mean it works. from my perspective, if you're listening to me and you are in this group, you are practicing witchcraft. And that might shock you because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't do witchcraft, I'm just an astrologer. Oh, I don't do witchcraft, I am just a tarot reader. I just collect crystals. Well, I challenge you to ask yourself why you draw the line where you draw it. Because so much of this stuff is interconnected. These labels that we choose for ourselves have so many connotations, good and bad, that just thinking about it can help you figure out why you see the world the way you do, why you've chosen to see the world the way you do, and maybe consider that at the end of the day, all of these words are kind of silly. They're all kind of labels for like parts of the elephant that we don't really know what else to call. And just consider this as you are contemplating whether you're going to adopt this word for yourself or not. But in the context of magic school, Way of the Witch is someone who's practicing all of these different modalities, if you like that word, in a practice of connecting to their spiritual selves. All of these tools, plus someone who's working with the cycles of nature, the wheel of the year, to honor our sense of place, to honor how energy moves in the physical, three-dimensional world, how we connect to our cultures and how we celebrate those things, and how we use this rhythm to remind ourselves to remember that our physical incarnation is sacred. It is so easy, get back to that spiritual bypassing word. There is a stream of thought in the West that body is bad, spirit is good. And we should all try to escape this realm and be more spiritual. But I firmly believe that is not what we intended when we became incarnate. Because if that's what we intended, why in the world did we incarnate in the first place? It's kind of an oxymoron. You come down here and then don't want to be here. That's crazy. So the way of the witch is to walk in balance, honoring nature, honoring cycles, recognizing all the myriad ways that humanity has come up to do these things, and using all of the creative tools that we have invented, that we have devised over the years to help get our conscious minds working with our subconscious minds, working with our divine selves in a co-creative kind of way. All right? So, this is why I saved the Way of the Witch for last when I was putting together the tracks in my Magic and Mastery Coven. My Magic and Mastery Coven is really a collection of, you can think of it like as a permanent conference where, in conferences there's different tracks, a track for this and a track for that, and then there's different lessons in the track for different elements of that topic. Well, my coven is set up the same way. For a monthly fee, it's $47 right now till the end of the week, then it jumps up to $77. You get access to all of the tracks all at once. And I did magic because that's our creative force, our fiery force, our desire to put something in the world. And our alchemy track, which is about transforming, it's the watery course. And our service-minded track in priestess craft, and our airy track of divination. I needed them all in place before we could do the Way of the Witch, which talks about how you put all of this into practice in your daily life, what it means to live in the context of cycles. Whether you put altars up, whether you choose activities to do during that month which align with that energy, what spirits, deities that you might want to work with, what are people doing around the world to celebrate this time, and what things do they have in common, and how are they different? It's kind of a festival of mythology married to lots and lots of magical tools and practice. So witchcraft contains a whole bunch of things. You may or may not like the word, but practically there is a challenge with every word you choose. If you call yourself an occultist, that gives people some connotations. If you call yourself a magician, that gives people some connotations. If you call yourself a shaman, that has other problems. They all are words that face different challenges in different places. But I do challenge folks to recognize that witch, especially the way we think it in the modern world, is a construct. And it contains all of these things that we've been talking about. And so if you are averse to it, then consider all that cultural baggage that is set up those conditions in your head to be averse to the word, and perhaps begin the process of undoing them, because that is what we do when we are walking a magical path, in learning how to create our own reality bubbles. You know, what some biological evolutionists call an Umwelt. While we're creating our reality bubbles, it's shaping how we see the world. And if you're walking this path and you are uncomfortable with words like witch, shaman, magician, fill in the blank, and you don't even know what words like, if I wanted to call myself a hermetic initiate or an astral theurgist, that doesn't even mean anything to anybody. They might actually be true, but if they have no meaning, then they're not usable in our mass mediated world. So consider how all those words shape your understanding of the labels you put on yourself, the labels you put on other people, and how that is impacting how you connect to this kind of work. All right? If you want to talk about this some more, maybe put in the comments section what you call yourself and why, and how you feel about some of these words. This is a great conversation to have, especially with, the 10,000 people who are here. Get lots of different perspectives. I hold open this space, the crossroads of magic and mastery, so people can learn from one another, share each other's experiences, and if you happen to be a content creator, share the content that you are creating. This is a public group, so whatever gets put in here, you can share with other people. You can just click the share button, put it on your own page, put it in your own groups. I am perfectly happy to have you share all my videos, and if everybody else is posting here, those are kind of the rules, so I'm assuming they're happy too. All right? So, once again, thank you for coming and attending our session. We're on day 29, so we're almost 1/3 of the way through. Over the next weeks, I'm going to be talking about more concrete things that you can do for magical practices. We're going to be talking about the elements of a ritual, what a solid functional ritual, what elements it contains. I'm going to be talking about things you can do like candle magic and smudging and all kinds of other practical stuff. Figuring out how to put them in little 10-15 minute slices is going to be fun. And if you've got any ideas for me, I am always happy to hear them. Just again, stick them under the comment section of one of these videos, and I will look into including it in one of the upcoming sessions. We have 70 more to go, so I got plenty of space to add things that you are especially interested in. All right? And last thing, remember, this is the last week that you can join my Magic and Mastery Coven at the $47 rate. On October 1st, it jumps to $77. So if you're interested in 75 hours of magical training with me, plus weekly live office hours conversations, plus 36 more guided meditations, plus the whole weekly live ceremonial meetings for the new moon, the full moon, the sun ingressed into a new zodiac sign, the solstices and equinoxes, and all the seasonal festivals, and a really kick-ass annual celebration. $47 for all of that is a really sweet deal. Since there's no contracts, you can cancel anytime. I highly recommend you check it out before the price goes up and you get to lock in the lower rate forever. All right? Okay, everybody, it was good to talk to you, and I look forward to continuing our conversation tomorrow and for the days to come. Take care, everyone.